Changing the subject to something that doesn't sound as if it's been pulled off the headline of a newspaper. In your opening remarks, Chris, you mentioned entrepreneurship, and I'd like to pursue that avenue a bit. In the last couple of years, the Council has become aware of the fact that in Princeton there are a large number of vacant properties that are intended to be used for office and research purposes. Those properties are in what we call office research zones. They're in areas of the municipality that are zoned specifically for that use. The fact that they're vacant is not good for the community. It's not good for two reasons. One is that the owners of those properties pay less in the way of property tax on a vacant property than they do on a property that is rented out. And secondly, if a property remains vacant for a period of time, and in the current environment for housing, the owners of the property get the idea that they might approach the municipality and rezone the sites so that they become residential. And in some instances, suggestions have been made for high density residential, higher density residential than what we already have in some locations. I'll speak for myself here and say that as a member of the Economic Development Committee that Council has formed, we do not think that this is a good situation, or I do not think it's a good situation, and that it's important that the town maintain a balance of residential properties and properties that can be used for office and research purposes. In the same period of time, the university has made great strides with their entrepreneurship program, with the hub and with activities on campus. And they're commended on that. I've been to the hub a couple of times, I've been to presentations on campus, and there's no question about the fact that entrepreneurship has, in effect, become baked in the academic culture at the university. What I'd like to suggest is that there is an opportunity here for the town and the university to work together to try and develop some methodology, and I'm not quite sure what it might be at this point, to have businesses that are startups that come out of the entrepreneurship environment on campus remain in Princeton rather than move off to surrounding communities, so that we have a balance of office and research uses of our land as was intended in our master plan, and the students, alumni, faculty that are involved in the programs that come out of the entrepreneurship, the startups that come out of the entrepreneurship, have an opportunity to remain in proximity to the campus and continue to work together, and the town will benefit in the long run by the fact that we have to move together to keep our office and research properties filled with office and research uses. So I'd like to suggest that there may be something that we can do here together.
Bernie, I would love to be able to explore what those options are. From my standpoint, there are a number of reasons why what you're proposing is strongly consistent with the university's teaching and research mission. We want the education that we provide to our students and the ideas that our researchers develop in their laboratories to have practical applications that matter in the world, and entrepreneurship is one of the things that enables us to do that. And one of the things that we hear increasingly from our faculty members, and I know we have at least a couple of our extraordinary scientists in the room with us right now as representatives of the Springdale neighborhood, but more and more often, I hear from our scientists, including our scientists who are doing basic research, that they think their basic research can get better by having connections to the world of applications, that by learning the sorts of questions, even though they may not be doing the applied work themselves, the kinds of questions that can make a difference in the world for the better, they can identify questions in basic science that may deserve their attention and have the kind of effects that they hope that their science will have over the long term. But looking for ways to create a kind of innovation ecosystem that incorporates parts of the town in the way that you described, consistent with the town's own planning and connects to the university, is something that I think is very much consistent with that mission. And I think both our students and our faculty would be delighted if it were possible to do that in ways that kept people here closer to home. And I have to say, sometimes when these companies hive off in the end, they're not just going to neighboring communities. Some of them are going out to California. It might be good for the state of New Jersey. They're going to California, or they're going to Massachusetts. It might be good for the state of New Jersey for us to find ways to keep them here. So, I don't know what those solutions are. I'm happy to work with them. I will note that, it will require us to be flexible and thoughtful in our planning. You fill up those parks, you are going to get some more traffic with that, right? You get more people in there, and we have to recognize that, I think, at least under some of those circumstances, that can be consistent with our aspirations for the community. I also want to say, I appreciate your question. I'd appreciate the town's support on the basic proposition that these entrepreneurship ventures and this work to develop this innovation ecosystem around us is something that is consistent not only with the town's aspirations, but with the basic nonprofit mission of Princeton University as a research university. To my astonishment, one of the things that was contested, and as I said, I'm happy to be spending our money not on lawyers, although I'm looking at my general counsel. I love some lawyers. I am a lawyer myself, but I'm looking at my general counsel here. I'm happy to spend that money on socioeconomic diversity in this town and supporting this town rather than on lawyers. But I think that the proposition that we are a nonprofit university and that our ventures in entrepreneurship are consistent with the mission of a nonprofit university, and our research, that should be common ground between the town and the university, and I would hope that you would be supporting us on that proposition. As I said at the start, we as a university have to realize that we have to help this town, and this town has to help us as a university. We grew up together, we're going to continue growing together, but this is a way I'd like to do that.